Want to go back to the telephone now, and join us on the phone is Plainview head football coach Dale Pruitt. Good evening, Coach. Welcome into Scoreboard. It was a road trip for your Bears tonight, but they passed the road trip. Big win at Madison County to stay unbeaten, 41-21 tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. We made enough mistakes, but we played well enough to win, and had a lot of penalty yardage, so we got to clean that up. But I will take a dub anytime.
Well, Coach, I know you're like the other coaches. You want to go 1-0 every week. It may not look great this week, but you win again, and it gives you something to go back to the practice field next Monday and get ready again for another big game next week.
Yes, and we got through pretty healthy, so that makes it even better. So we pretty much took care of business, but we didn't. We let them score a good bit of points late when we should have shorted up some, and they had a touchdown call back. We had, one or two touchdowns called back and a couple long runs. It was a kind of probably a tough game for the fans to watch, because nobody likes to watch the penalties.
Well, Coach, this is one of your road trips. You had to go to Westminster to open the season. Then you had a trio of home games before the short trip to Sylvania last week. Do you think going on the road tonight, it's not really a long trip over to Gurley to Brownsboro to the game, but it's still a road trip for your football team. Does that factor into your play tonight, do you think?
Well, I don't know. It's just sometimes you maybe like you win 4 or 5, you might start thinking you're better than you are, or some of that kind of stuff at practice. So, every week we've seen something a little bit different. So I think it's helped us. That will help us in the future. We played a young quarterback in Jansen Curry some tonight early, because he's one of those kids that's been good enough to play, but didn't get to play junior high last year because he was playing on the varsity in 8th grade. He didn't get to play no B-team games, so he's playing varsity in the 9th grade, and, he's not a mop-up player, so, he really hasn't got to play any at that position. So I think that was one of the good things that come out of that. He did a pretty good job.
Well, Coach, of course, we were there last week after your win over Pisgah for Team of the Week, and one thing that I noticed last week there as your squad came in is the size of your offensive line. Maybe one of the biggest offensive lines you've ever had, and but those guys up front, I know that they played well for you throughout the season this year.
Well, they have. They just got to get better each week. There's not a whole lot of, you don't get a lot of praise as an offensive lineman. Most of the time you get chewed out or when you screw up. But we did have some big blocks tonight, and you always do. I think we had, with all the penalties and everything, I think we had 489 yards of offense. But you still like to clean up some of them penalties.
Well, Coach, the season's long and it's grueling, and every coach knows it's hard to be there every night because it's such a grind. Do you think sometimes you kind of sort of hit the wall a little bit, kind of sort of waiting for that second win?
Well, that's true. Especially when you don't get a lot of praise and all that kind of stuff. But basically you got to do what you got to do to get it done, and I think our kids have done well. They're not doing anything intentionally. They're as much down on themselves for not, for getting penalties and that kind of stuff as we are. But sometimes, you forget about how important Monday and Tuesday is. And maybe if we don't beat on you on Monday and Tuesday, you kind of think that's an off day when we're trying to keep you healthy or get you well. And, you got to be a pretty good psychologist to coach football in this century. And, but we'll take where we are right now and be happy with it.
Well, Coach, Coach, and also another way of looking at it is when you're a team that's not been used to being in this position where all of a sudden you become the hunted, you've got to pick up your level to play, and that intensity level has even got to be good against teams that you know you're better than because they're going to play better than what they actually are.
Well, also you got people that are still in a playoff hunt. We got 9 teams in our region, so the team we played tonight was about the same spot we were this time last year, and we won that game, and it kept us. We won put 2 or 3 together right there, and it kept us in the hunt. And that's what everybody that we're going to play against from here on out is we got 5 playoff games. 5 region games in a row, and we've been telling them that got to get ready. We can't look for the 3rd game from now or the 2nd game from now. You got to look for tonight, because if you don't look for tonight, you'll end up getting beat by somebody that you want, maybe didn't think that was capable of beating. But we've known all week that this bunch was capable. They could score points, and they're a big old physical team. They're well coached, and it's just there's not that much difference between us and them. And so if we're not playing as well as we can, then bad things can happen.
Well, Coach Pruitt, you alluded to the question I was going to ask. You play in a 9-team region, so that gives you 8 region games, where most people, the most they have is maybe 6 or at the most. But here you are with 8. You've got, like you say, the last 4 games of the year are really going to decide your season now, and that begins next week. And you've got a North Jackson team that had a tough loss tonight, so they're coming in kind of with their back against the wall next week, and that's going to be a challenge for you and your coaching staff and your football team.
Well, we had a really good come down to the wire game last year with that bunch, and they're well coached, and I know a lot of their coaches, and I've been on the same staff with Coach Schrader, and they'll be well coached. They know us, and it's not, we don't have any surprises, and they don't have any surprises, and it'll just be a physical contest, and we just got to get our kids ready and go play. And the bad thing about it is you can win that game, and you still got 3 more to win.
Right.
So we got to win them one at a time and take the ones we can get.
Well, Coach Pruitt, congratulations to you and your staff, and, of course, the football team on the 41-21 win on the road at Madison County tonight. We wish you the best next week against North Jackson, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us on the scoreboard tonight.
Thank you.
That's Coach Dale Pruitt as the Plainview Bears now 6-0 on the season as they're battling toward an unbeaten regular season.